Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today we are looking at something that is now very old, and this particular version is very rare and very difficult to find. We are looking at the 1966 first release of the Corgi Batmobile, which obviously was taken from the Batman television series of the 1960s, which starred Adam West as Batman or Bruce Wayne and Burt Ward as Robin or Dick Grayson. And there was, I think that the series ran for about 3 seasons, and there was something like 120 25-minute episodes that was produced. Very popular series back in the 1960s, and then it was obviously rerun throughout the many decades afterwards. So it was rerun in the 70s and in the 80s, and to some extent rerun in the 90s, and even now I saw some being rerun on one of the satellite channels only last year. So there we are, still rerunning the original Batman television series. Okay, anyway, I've digressed. This particular model we're looking at is the original 1966 Batmobile, and this is the box that it comes in. So the front of the box, it says Batman rocket firing Batmobile with Batman and Robin figures, and it's Corgi number 267. And if I flip the box over to the other side, oops, it says Corgi Toys, trademark registered, National Periodic Publications Inc. 1966, diecast scale models, Playcraft Toys Limited, London, and it's made in Great Britain. And you've got the Corgi logo there, and the other side you've got exactly the same as the front, Batman rocket firing Batmobile with Batman and Robin 267. And on the other side you've got here operating triple rocket tubes, chain slasher blade, turbine jet exhaust, spring suspension, and you got the Corgi logo, made in Great Britain, diecast scale models, Playcraft Toys Limited, London. And on the end you've got Corgi Toys number 267, rocket firing Batmobile. On the other end, this one's actually missing the M flap, so it's not present. Okay, that is the box that the model comes in. Now, this box I don't believe is original. It looks more like a reproduction box to me, which is a shame really, but it's definitely, even though it's made to look very old and tattered, it is still I think a reproduction box. So, but anyway, let's have a look at the inside, what's inside of the actual box, the model and the display plinth. Okay, so I've removed the model from the box, and you can see he's on the display plinth, but this is 100% a reproduction display plinth. The colours are not fantastic on it, and it's not the best I've seen, but end of the day, it's nice for display purposes. It says rocket firing Batmobile, and you've got images of Batman and Robin. It's got Robin the Boy Wonder, Batmobile owner's badge and rockets, and Batman operating triple rocket tubes, chain slasher blade, turbine jet exhaust, and sprung suspension. And you've got Corgi Toys, rocket firing Batmobile there. And if we turn it to the side, it's got again Corgi Toys at the back there, and on the back there is okay, Batman with Batman the Boy Wonder. Now, am I going to attempt to read this because it's blurred? In fact, I'm not going to bother to attempt to read it. It's too blurry, being that it's a reproduction box, and the writing is very small. But it basically tells you all about Batman. Okay, that is the display plinth, and it's not a particularly good one, I have to add, but it does come with this particular model, and if you're displaying it in a cabinet or something like that, it's ideal, as this particular model we're looking at today was displayed with that plinth and the box. Okay, so this is the original 1966 Batmobile. It's the first one that was released. Now, how can we tell that? Well, we can tell it, first of all, by the exhaust at the back. It has no tow bar. Also, by the red wheels. You can see you've got the painted Bat logo on top of the wheels. So that's the easiest way to tell that the model is the original release, all based on the very first, obviously the first Batmobile that went out. Now, obviously, Corgi had to modify these models a little bit later on. They did change the wheels, so the bat sign was no longer on the wheels. They were just the spoked wheels, and they also had to add a tow bar at the back because they then produced a trailer with a Batmobile. And the very first trailer actually just had a round circle that would clip onto the back of the exhaust pipe there, so that you could put it along. However, they failed to make an impact with those. They would break or they wouldn't stay on. So they then, the next design of Batmobile, they added the tow bar. Okay, so this is the original 1966 model. Let's have a measure of the model and let's see how big long it is. So it stands 12.5 centimeters long, and if we measure across the widest part of the base, we're looking at 4.5 centimeters wide. And height wise, if we measure from the bottom of the tire to the top of the canopy or top of the rocket tubes, you're looking at 3.5 centimeters. Okay, now this particular one, although the functionality of the rockets do fire, they're spring loaded inside. You pop your missile in and you turn the wheel there and the rockets fire out. Unfortunately, on this one, I don't have any of the missiles because they've obviously all been deployed, lost over the years, and they are missing from this particular model. But we do have Batman and Robin still sitting inside the model, as you can see there. Batman driving and the Boy Wonder in the passenger seat. The canopy is the blue version, yeah, they can see it. Yeah, so the canopy is a blue version, and it's got the gold painted lights at the front. If I turn it over onto the back, you can see you've got the Batman. Let's just add a little bit of light in here so we can see a little bit better. There we go. So you can see the Batman image on the back. It says "Call Your Toys" at the top, and you've got Batman down here and Batmobile along the bottom there, and it's got "Made in Great Britain" on the bottom there. So that is the model. You've got this die cast black body which goes all the way around. In fact, I think apart from the tubes, the firing tubes, and the cockpit and the figures and obviously inside, everything else on this model is metal. And the flame at the back is plastic, but other than that, everything is all metal. Now, the flame at the back, as you move the car, you can see the flame comes in and out. As the back wheels turn round, the flame at the back goes in and out, just like you would see on the television series. And you've got the chain slasher at the bottom, at the front there. So if you press the button, the chain slasher comes out. So if there's chains across the road, it just slashes them, and you just fold that back up. And same, I haven't got any missiles, unfortunately, to show you how the missiles work. But I did stick a match in there, and I pulled it back just to make sure that it worked, and it did fire. So that's the original 1966 Batmobile. But I did want to show you a later version. So this is a later version that we have, and I just wanted to compare the two together, so you can see most of it's the same. So the bodywork is the same, but this one's in the matte black and this one's in the shiny black finish. So obviously this is a later model. The matte black one was the very first issues, and that's another way to identify the original model. So one of the most distinctive things, actually I was just thinking, I've noticed that we've lost the aerial on this one as well, but this one does actually have the aerial. So the original one is missing the aerial, but you can see on this one the flame no longer goes in and out as you move it forward and backwards. Let's just move that one out of the way, so you can see the flame doesn't actually go in and out anymore. That stays where it is, but it does have a tow bar on the back. So that's one of the changes that they made. You can also see that the colour of the perspex is slightly lighter on the later one, and that's not just because it's faded. It literally is a lighter perspex, and the tubes, these ones are facing the opposite direction. They're facing forward as opposed to, I don't think they're supposed to be facing forward. I think that might be a little bit of damage on this one, but they are, you can see that the chrome's come off of these ones. But that's one thing that I've noticed, that they're facing the opposite way. Maybe that was how they were done, maybe it wasn't. I'll have to look that up. But also you can see the differences on the wheels. So this one doesn't have the Batman logo on the wheels. They're just the standard wheels. And of course the button at the front is a different color that releases the chain slasher. So that was a different color. But generally, I think that was really about the differences. There's not a tremendous amount of differences, but there certainly is differences. And sprung suspension at the front, as you can see. I think this one's, yeah. So they both got sprung suspension, which you can clearly see. Okay, so that is the two Batmobiles. Now, obviously my favourite is the original 1966 one. I think that's just such a nice model, even though there is some imperfections with it. Like I say, the aerial is missing, and I think there's a fraction of the canopy which is missing. This one does have it on there, but that's the one that also broken off a little bit there as well. So that is actually missing on here. Obviously that one's missing the Boy Wonder as well. But this is the one that we're looking at today, and this is the one that comes with this reproduction box. Okay, so there is a few marks on this one as well, a few minor marks where there's marks on the edges where it's been rubbing, obviously, or something, or what have you. I don't know, but there is some obvious slight damages, but otherwise it appears to be very, very good. But yeah, I think all the Batmobiles, regardless of what year they were, which version they were all excellent toys. And obviously one of those ones that Corgi done fabulous in producing. It was a toy back in the 1960s that had functionalities, and you didn't get a lot of those back in the day. So with this one, where you did have, I mean, you had the odd ones. The James Bond ones had one. There's a few other cars that had functionalities, but most of them didn't. But this particular one had loads of functionalities for us, and it was obviously a very, very popular television show. And this car went on for years being sold. These first batches, over the course of, I think it was about 8 years they went on for. Then there was a break before they started to release them again, and they released a few more small ones, the small scale ones and these scale ones. So there's been a lot of them released over the years. All of them have done remarkably well, as you would expect from a vehicle like this, a model like this. Now, what are they like now to find? Well, the original releases, the 1966 ones, are much more difficult to find than, say, this one, which was a 1970s one. They do pop up from time to time on the platforms, no doubt about that. And you can usually find them in various different degrees of condition. Some in very good condition, some in quite poor condition. And some there for restoration purposes. You can also find some absolutely fabulous ones that are almost in mint condition on the platforms, but bear in mind you're gonna have to pay for the nose for those. But these particular models, and this particular one in particular we're looking at today, this one here, this one is currently available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to quite simply by clicking the link below, and it will take you straight to the website where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Batman items and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that, there's over 10,000 products on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes onto the website. There will be something for everybody, and I'm absolutely positive you're not going to want to miss this, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing and comparing these old Batmobile models with me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next video. So bye for now.